Hello, hello, hello. Um, so I think it was like end of May, ballpark. They released volume or the translated fully thing of volume 16 of the Apothecary Diaries. Um, it was certainly a longer volume. Basically, we followed. Oh man, when was like? I think I haven't made a video in like a month. Anyways, it followed basically the continuation of what was hung up last time, which was the incoming threat of smallpox. Well, actually, no. Last volume was the surgery, I think. So I guess the aftermath of that. Actually, I can just see my notes. The aftermath at the start of this was just the beginning of that aftermath, like post surgery Tianyu getting that belt, like he's getting full on lashings, which is funny. Um, but this volume mainly centers around the smallpox and learning more about Changsha and Yo, like the two new like medical helpers. Yo had smallpox, and if you remember Kokyo, the guy from like the Western arc who like helped Lahan seasickness, or was it Lahan? I don't remember, but helped their seasickness. Tried for the medical exam. Tried to dress as a woman, and you know, this is this doesn't start off as a him story, but it'll get to that. So I'm just gonna talk about what happened and some things that I enjoyed, I guess. Um, I will say it will be a long ass time till volume 17 comes out because I'm pretty sure this is the latest volume even in Japan. And like I think the way it works is like I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but like it's like we start off with the web novel, like Natsu Hyoga does the web novel. It becomes like when there's enough or like the arc is done or whatever, it goes to light novel, and then after like the syndication rights and all that stuff, it gets translated by then. So it's gonna be a long time. Like I don't think there's gonna be another volume for like at least maybe two, maybe two. Yeah, I think the last time I checked, the last update to the web novel was December. I could be wrong, could be off. Who knows? You know. Anyways, let's get back on track. Um, Sazon. I guess it's just pronunciations based off of how I feel. But we get an update from him. He's a strong man, resisting the courtesan discount. Quite the man. And yeah, like I said, the arc on smallpox. So choose very fun. She could read lips, right? And Mao Mao and Chu are like stalking Boston and Li Shu. And yeah, Mama was like very impressed by Chu's ability to read lips, and then so she's all like, "Whoa, you can read lips!" And she was like, "Oh, it's something a married woman needs to know." And then Mama tried to think of any other married woman she knew who could read lips, and then Chu's eyes starts trolling, bro. She she just starts making up smut, and yeah, hey, Chu's a fun character. And then Mama asks what the point of stalking them was, and Chu just says, "Miss Chu needs her hobbies." Yeah. Oh. Um. Oh, one of my probably my favorite chapter, I guess, of this volume was the one where Mama just caught up on her letters, and one of them was, I guess, was it this one? I don't think it was this part specifically. I think I'll talk about it later, but I'm seeing that this note was together they read it, together they fell silent, moved to real pity by its contents. The gist of it was, please don't take Kokyo from me. And there were tear stains on the letter, and the tone was something like a wife desperately trying to prevent her husband from being sent to war. Mao Mao is kind of an asshole, but she's really funny, you know? Yeah. Let's see. There's a minor subplot of the dowagers side of the family, How and like all them's. and they have a daughter, or like the guy has a daughter with the like a mistress that she's like intentionally getting sick, and there's a whole thing there. Basically, Jinchi is tasked with figuring out why the girl's sick, and there's light banter of like it was buried. They found like this cursed jar and like superstitions and stuff. They don't fuck with that, and they said it was buried under the eaves of the house, right near the daughter's room. Her pet cat found it, or so I'm told. And then Jinchi says, a very clever, or no, Mao says, a very clever cat. And Jinchi replies, just like mine. All right. Mao chose to ignore that. Instead, she took a cloth from the folds of her robe and wrapped it around her right hand. My note says, chat, his riz is unparalleled. For real, though. Chu, the great mind reader, can already tell that Mao will not remember names. And Chu just saying, whispering, try to remember his name, at least while you're here. Let's see. Oh yeah, Sifon's dude. Their names, I get so confused. Like the 1, 2, 3, 4, bro. I don't count in Mandarin. Um. Oh, the chapter from Genji's perspective, and as a reminder, Lahan's brother, his name is the exact same, so he just chooses to go by Lahan's brother because he feels really bad. You know, he's a real sweetheart. Big fan of Enin. You know. It says, back in the Western capital, he had been known to work in nothing but work shorts, but that had stopped when he returned to the capital. He just couldn't do it. He claimed when there were young ladies around. Genji she wondered, what exactly did that make Mao Mao and Chu? That's funny. And then when Mao Mao's getting the letters, there's a soft reference to way back. I don't even remember. It was like a lot of volumes ago when Mao Mao had that drinking competition to get all that wheat. And one of like the art pieces, CGs, I don't know what they're called. The drawn parts of this volume was just Mao Mao writing no. Man, she's so mean to Lahan. Lahan's such a sweetheart. Yeah, and yeah. I wrote down Shaolan sob emoji because Mao Mao said that Xiaolan's been writing letters and she just doesn't want to reply because it would look bad coming from a brothel. And also, there's so many things that she can't tell. But, like, brother, just like, you can get her address. Can't you just go over and talk to her? Like, could you not? Like, she'd just be making excuses, bruh. For real, though. Anyways, the letter chapter was fun. Changsha the psycho talking about. Dude. Okay, so she she talks about like Yao's feelings for Lahan and like basically goes off of like, Mamo, you see in this shit, you see in this, and she's just like going off about like, man, Enen's like handicapping Yao, making causing this dependency, all that stuff, and it was just really funny to read because like brother is so obsessed about things not important in her life. Um, let's see. I wrote down this part of I assume because I wrote down Chu is a sicko. Miss Chu, wake up, Mama said, shaking her. No, hubby, not there. Still asleep, Chu puckered her lips and started leaning towards Mama, who reflexively smacked her on the head. Oh, Miss Mama. Dude, what does that even mean? Like that I don't even know, bruh. Like, does that imply you put it in the wrong place? Like, anyways, Jade Elder chapter, mega filler, nothing burger. Mama being able to discern that it's a fake elder by the lack of oil secretion because Jade is shinier with oil. That's crazy. Because Lahan got abducted, and Sanfan was like, "Yo, Mama, I need you," because Sanfan's like in love. Um, oh yeah, it was funny because like, um, Sanfan showed up to the dormitory, and the dormitory lady was like, "Oh, this is a women's only," and then Mom was like, "Oh no, that is a woman." because Sanfan dresses like a man. They love women that dress as men here. Hey, I do too. All right. Um, no. Yeah, not wanting to chow with Shalon to prevent leaking and preserve her innocence. Such an excuse. That's real. Uh, oh, the Mamo talking about Kokyo. Kokyo. Saying he must have been pretty good looking once. And then Jinji saying, oh, he was he? And then Mamo having to say, yes, although not as much as you, sir. Yeah. Jinji, very silly Billy. He feels like a caricature of a man, but man in love. Uh, I just wrote down Mao my goat there. Boston. Oh yeah, honestly the whole that my main gripe I guess with this volume was the chickenpox arc. Like you don't actually get a front row seat because you're not actually seeing the perspective. You just kind of hear it from like a tertiary point, and it wraps up like with like no information at the time. But I guess they kind of did that with the Western arc, but it didn't feel as stunted because the Western arc, I was a big fan of how like we learn about Rickerson's story. I guess we learn about Rickerson's story after, right? And like the murder kind of came out of nowhere, but Chu was going to be tasked to do it anyways. So, um, sorry, sidetracked. But the chickenpox arc was resolved really quickly because they go to the Red Plum Village with the Rickerson and like the medical staff, and Jinshi's there too, like fake scars, all that stuff, to try and like see if they could get like livestock to like inoculate. I think the term is inoculate, like smallpox, give it to people in a weaker dose. And then that's when the village chief from way back in Kokyo's village comes, and he tries to kill Kokyo, but he mistakes Kokyo with Jinshi because they both have like the same setup because Jinshi's got like fake makeup and all that stuff. And obviously, Boston clears him and knocks him out, but Boston gets cut, and then he has to get quarantined for like 10 days. Yeah, just would have liked more build up. Village chief, Mr. No Name Chief, kills himself. Like I say off screen, but like you know what I mean. Like not. It was just mentioned in passing of like he was sentenced to death because he made an attempt on like the uh the imperial little brother, even though it's not the little brother, and bit of a nothing burger. But he did use. He called. Oh, let me find the word. Because if I don't, it just seemed kind of weird because I was thinking like, what was the point of this? But the village chief before he dies was like calling Kokyo something. He was calling him. Let me check I didn't write down the thing in my note. Did I? I guess I didn't. I'll just check the novel real quick. Sorry. Well, in the meantime, while I flip through the ebook. Yeah, the post-death lore dump was not my favorite, and hey, you could really tell how what like impromptu these videos are, because like I just have kind of vibe it out. I don't really. I guess I just like talking. Who knows? Because Mamo hears a word Penghu. Mamo was really curious about that, and Yo basically was it Yo or was Changsha? I forgot. But one of them basically explained to Mao what like the meeting was. It was like a type of fictional monster that just repeats back what is said to you. And then Mao gets Chu to arrange like a meeting with Kokyo, and they talk, and Kokyo is just like, oh, do you know why? Or Mao asks why he's called that. And then Kokyo reveals the bombshell of like he didn't or his brother wasn't the one that killed the mentor. He was. He switched out the mentor's puss with like the stronger one, and then the mentor died, and then his little brother, or yeah, it was his little brother. His little brother killed himself because like the guilt of thinking like, oh, why? And like, you know, crazy, crazy. And the whole Pengu thing was like, uh, Kokyo is very much a. I guess they mentioned this in the beginning of like he doesn't really care about like money in a sense of like how much he's paid. He cares more about money in the sense of like what do you value me as. So like when he was doing that interview process at the beginning, he really liked how they were willing to pay him like significantly over market price because they really thought like this could be that guy. And so then he was willing to accept like half the salary. I think it was like 5, but originally they offered 5, but he was like, I'm happy with 3. Silver, I don't, it's a fictional world, but that's basically who he is. And Mama, Mama was like disgusted, and like Loki, he didn't do anything wrong because like when he got exiled from the village, he like what did you want him to do? Like he's covered in like pox scars, and like the only people he helped were the people that helped him. With the people that did you want him to try to help people that didn't like that the people that exiled him? Like I don't really know what he was he should have done, I guess. Because like he could have talked to an official, but would it, like if we're thinking about like the era, would they have really taken his word for it? You know what I mean? Because like he's not like a traditionally trained doctor. He had a mentor kind of thing. So in a sense, I don't feel like he did anything wrong, but nothing burger. And the volume ends with a little bit of fan service because as was mentioned, I think 2 volumes ago at this point, Mao Mao Jinchi are essentially together now. They're, I guess, there's not really dating in this world, but like they are together, and it's like an agreement of like they'll give it a shot. And then Mao Mao just like comes to Jinchi at the end and was like, "I need to recharge." Callback, no way, crazy callback to when Jinchi just holds Mao Mao. Was like, I need to recharge. Holy moly! But yeah, and then Gigi just holds her close, and that's how the volume ends. Um, Overall, not my favorite arc. I think peak was still Rikusen. I'm really looking forward to when that gets adapted, like 10 million years from now. Yeah. Well, I guess that's it from me. Long ass video, 18 minutes. Holy moly. Well, see you guys whenever I read another book.